then had dismounted and sent his hammer-headed dun galloping back up the draw with a swat of his hat in its rump. He wanted the horse well out of the line of fire. He had taken cover as Epps started shooting at him. Monroe Epps had robbed close to a dozen banks in New Mexico Territory and western Texas. He wasn't a cold-blooded killer, the sort of mad dog outlaw who gunned down anybody who happened to get in his way. But he had killed a Texas Ranger and an El Paso City policeman during a couple of his escapes, so the Lone Star State wanted him pretty bad. Bad enough that there was a $5,000 bounty on his head. Luke wanted that $5,000. It was why he had gotten on Epps's trail and tracked him to that desolate landscape. It wasn't that he lacked a sense of justice or a desire for law and order. It was just that the money interested him more.
"Why would you want to give me more of a chance than all the other men you brung in dead?" Epps called.
"We're a good long ways from the nearest town," Luke replied, "and the weather's been pretty hot lately. If I have to kill you, there's a good chance you'll go to stinking before I can get you there and collect the reward. I have delicate sensibilities, you know."
Epps let out a bray of laughter. "That's rich. A bounty hunter with delicate sensibilities. I guess you're just going to have to let 'em be offended if you want to collect on me, because I ain't surrendering, Jensen. No way in hell."
Luke sighed again.
"You're sure about that?" "Damn sure."
"In that case, I guess I'll just have to let a friend of mine give me a hand."
"A friend? I didn't see nobody riding with you whilst you was chasing me."
"You're about to meet him," Luke said. "I'm going to send him over there to introduce himself." He turned and slid the rifle barrel under the thick, scaly body of the dead rattlesnake. It had finally stopped writhing around in its death throes. Grimacing again, and being careful to keep the barrel in the middle of the snake's body so it was balanced and wouldn't slide off, Luke picked it up with a Winchester and took hold of the rifle with both hands.
Epps said, "I think the sun's made you go loco, Jensen. There ain't nobody."
Luke swung the Winchester in a high arc with as much force as he could muster in his lean but powerful body. At the top of the arc, the snake flew free and sailed across the draw toward the rocks where Monroe Epps had taken cover. The bank robber saw the huge rattler flying toward him and let out a startled, high-pitched yell. He started blazing away at the snake, trying to shoot it out of the air, never noticing that it didn't have a head anymore. Luke dropped the rifle, burst out from behind the rocks, and raced toward Epps's position. He whipped his twin Remingtons from their cross-draw holsters as he charged the bank robber. Epps realized what he was doing and screeched a curse at him, still shooting at the snake wildly, instinctively, as it dropped beside him. Luke heard the gun roar, but could tell that none of the shots were directed at him. With the speed he had built up, he was able to bound atop one of the rocks and look down to where he could see Epps. The outlaw had shot the already dead snake to pieces and tried to wheel around and bring his gun to bear on Luke. The Remington in Luke's right hand blasted and sent a slug tearing through Epps's left shoulder. Luke meant for the shot to go through his quarry's right shoulder, thus disabling his gun arm. But Epps had shifted to the side at the last second, just as Luke pulled the trigger. Even so, the wound should have been enough to put him down. But Epps managed to stay on his feet. He held his gun and fired again, the slug sizzling past Luke's left ear. Luke figured the bank robber might be out of bullets after wasting so much lead on that rattler, but he couldn't afford to take that chance. Both Remingtons erupted. The .36 caliber slug struck Epps in the chest and hammered him back against the boulder behind him. He hung there for a couple seconds, his eyes wide with pain and his mouth opening and closing like